Hello, fellow travelers. I'm Veronica from Human Design Journey, and today we're going to look at this very interesting chart of a mental projector with a 6-3 profile and born on the left angle cross of dedication. It's an interesting chart. First of all, it's a projector, and mental projectors are quite rare. And also the 6-3 profile is also rare. So let's directly dive into it. We're not gonna need my to see me, so let's go into it. I'm gonna start from the very beginning. So human design as a science of differentiation shows us how different and unique each of us are. And here in the body graph, we see the energy potentials, what our authentic self is, and where we're conditioned by our parents, society, environment, and culture. And of course, this can be very liberating and help us to experience our true potential to live an authentic life without resistance. So here we have a projector chart, and projectors are about 23% of the population. They're the new breed of leaders, so to say, who can successfully lead after true recognition and formal invitation. They have an absorbing and focused aura on the identity of others. The identity is this center called the G center. And basically their question is, who are you? Let's skip the masks and directly let me see who you are. And they are here to recognize specific uniqueness in the other and traits, and help them be more effective via guidance. But in return, they first have to be recognized back and invited to give their input, to give their guidance, and thus bringing the fine tuning in the right directions. But projectors do not have access to life energy. That's why they need invitation, and it can become their entire focus. The projector aura is like laser. It moves with the eyes, directly focuses on the G center of the other, and this is why it can be felt like penetrating the personal space of the other, which can bring a lot of resistance. That's why projectors have to wait to be invited to get involved and be invited to work with that energy of the other. Otherwise, they're just experienced as perpetrators and violators, violating just the aura of the other. And when they're not invited, they get a lot of resistance. The other is actually very sensitive to their penetration, and they don't like it. That's why projectors can get questions like, why are you looking at me like that? And people can feel at unease. This is because projectors carefully study others, and they have the ability to recognize traits, attitudes, processes. And basically, their deepest development is through being able to observe the other. And through observation, they learn about the other, they learn about life, they see who notices them and invites them, and thus they learn also about themselves. Projectors are not here to focus on themselves, they're here to focus on the other. And while focusing on the other and seeing what people they attract, they learn about themselves and what they're here for, what is their purpose. But projectors, with their openness, they can read the other, and when they really focus on the other, and it's one person at a time, so projectors are not here for groups. They can guide the whole group, but they should stay outside the group because they're here to focus on one person at a time. Otherwise, they get confused. They can become a wonderful source of help for the energy types, the generators and the manifestors, to guide them to use their energy more effectively and to give them feedback as to what their energy is truly available to by asking questions. That's the new leadership and guidance. It's not trying to manipulate the other in the direction you want them to go. It's about uplifting the other, bringing them awareness as to via questions as to what with those questions they're guiding them. Like if you talk about Gestalt therapists, psychologists, they are not giving you uh, ideas how to live. It's the therapy which helps you find your own truth. And that's what the projector is here for. That's why they're the new leaders, which lead through recognition and invitation and not via force, like the um, might is right, not with power, but with true awareness. They have really potential to wake up and be aware. They're the newest type on the planet, and they are here to be the true leaders, but they have a long way to go. They have to learn. They can be on top of the hierarchy of types, but before they can fulfill this role intended for them, they need to study, they need to understand systems, they need to understand people, and become specialists in certain area where they can guide others effectively. They're not here to throw themselves in work from 9 to 5, but they're more here to spend smaller amounts of time being focused on something, actually on the other. And actually the projector, the moment they're in the aura of other people, they're working because they focus on their identity, and it's work for them. This is why projectors should be very careful who is in their surrounding. They amplify the energy of the sacral, this center, which is a generator center. Only generators have it. And it is crucial for projectors to be aware what relationships they accept into their life, because toxic energy can be quite destructive. When the projector makes a decision, they kind of sign up themselves for becoming a slave to the energy which they accept. This is a long-term decision, so it needs to be made very carefully. And the inner authority of the projector will tell them whether the given energy is right for them, it's correct for them. And here we have a projector with no inner authority. It's a mental projector. So nothing below the throat is defined. And this makes them projector with authority of the milieu, of the surrounding. So the projector needs to trust the silent magic of this chemistry, that they're going to be recognized by the right people, by the right forces, and then many opportunities will appear in their path. They always get invitations, but they should be very clear that accepting invitations does not by itself mean that it is the right invitation and the right relationship. It means only that the basis is laid out, and then their authority will tell them whether this is the correct invitation or it's not the correct invitation. And when it's the correct invitation, they feel successful. When it's not correct, they can feel bitterness and resistance and resentment. So the projector really has to connect to their sense, even in their mouth, even physically, to how the other tastes to them. Is it sweet energy or is it bitter energy? Because they have to work with that energy. And when we talk about 70% of the generators being frustrated, not satisfied, working jobs they don't like, being in relationships they don't like, living in places they don't like, massively projectors have to work with unsatisfied energy, with frustrated energy. So even more reason for the projector to choose correctly which invitation to accept. And in this case, we have no inner authority. And this basically means that these people have to wait for sometimes a long time and allowing themselves time to fully and intensely experience what is happening in the environment and kind of reflect the energy from outside really intensely to figure out whether it's the correct one or not. The important thing is to take as much time as needed and to realize that anything that cannot wait for them to take this time to make a correct decision is just not for them anyways. So on one hand, it looks like it's no inner authority is difficult, and it might be because you're so much in the hands of the other for energy. And on the other hand, it's quite simple because you're not this, you're not that, you're not that, you're not that, you're not that. And what's left, then this is what you are. But yeah, it can be kind of challenging because there is the temptation to make a decision before the synthesis is complete. And these people can be overwhelmed by a particular experience during the process, and they can make a decision based on very powerful but incomplete experience. The trick is to really draw to wait for the process to happen, to take in the world, because they are taking in with all this openness, they're taking the world, and they're taking in the other very deeply. Their emotions, their responses, their adrenaline energy, um, their sense of health, their identity, their willpower, and they can identify with all those things and think it's themselves. This is them. Take it really personally. What they should do is they should actually let people around them act as sounding boards, to bounce things off of others, um, like to talk, to find allies to whom they can be themselves. And so your lover that you're not, that you want to impress is not a good candidate. um, to surround themselves with people who they can be authentic with, and to talk about the decisions they want to take and what's happening in their life, and hear what comes out of their throat. Of course, it can be quite complex and it can take more time, but they should listen how the energy floats, because even if you don't have an inner authority, you have sensations in the body, and we know that the wisdom is in the body. So if there is nervousness in the body, then there is no clarity yet. You have to wait. And when there is clarity, and when the projector talks to other people, to those sounding boards, telling them about what they're going to do, they can feel and experience with their body, if there is no nervousness, if they feel clear about it, then it is the right decision. But it is about synthesizing the whole experience, incorporating it through other aspects of their design, through their definition. Here we have two channels. So the process of assimilation can be complicated. So patience, self-awareness, and practice, and trusting in the process can be very valuable. And once they get the hang of it, their lives can become extremely rich and rewarding. They can become extraordinary role models for the rest of us in terms of the most ideal function of the undefined centers. And they can become great outer authority. And when they live out their design correctly, it can be very valuable to others as an outer authority. And especially in this case, we have 6-3 profiles, so they are also role models by profile. And what is a role model? It's a role model of what it is to be you and to live correctly as yourself. So we have here the most important thing is to wait to be recognized. And here the recognition will be about being genius when the timing is correct, and about being able to structure things in a new understandable way for the other, for their individuality, for their breakthroughs, and understanding the different, the new, being able to transform you, to mutate you on one hand. And the other channel is an abstract channel. It's about, it can be very inspiring to others, to look at past patterns and models, and to based on that, to take the lessons from the past, and to be able to tell a story to the other based upon experience, constantly sifting through past experiences and see what makes sense. But it takes time also for this channel. It's an abstract channel, so you need to be in the experience, and you cannot draw conclusions until the experience is over. And only then you can see what everything was for. But both are also projector channels, so you need to be recognized for that. So when people tell this person, oh, you're very inspiring, you give me those nice ideas, or you have a very strange and interesting thought process, giving ideas and stimulating me with ideas, and when you with your inspiration, then this person is recognized. If they're told, oh, I love how you feel, or how willful you are, or how you know who you are, and you can point me to the right direction, I love your energy and how much energy you have, how sustainable you are, or I like how adrenalized you make me. and your intuition, they are not recognized because all of this is open. Recognition is towards what is defined, because this is something you can rely on. It's consistent, always there. So let's look specifically at the channels. We have here the channel of structuring, and this is also an individual channel of nicknamed genius to freak. Why? Because when they wait for the right timing and when they really structured everything and they're ready to give it in a new way, what they have structured, what they have analyzed and understood, they can really appear genius. They have very unusual perspective, and this is also the channel of deafness. The 43rd gate is the gate of the inner ear. So they're very big individuals, and they don't get affected by hearing others. Sometimes they don't even hear you what you say. But of course, this is a mental projector, so with all this openness, they can be influenced all the way down here. But in the mental process, in their thinking, they cannot be influenced. Why freak? Because it's implying that when you don't choose the right timing, when you're not ready to express your unique insight and ideas, something that they know, then they can appear like strangers, like freaks. This is a great range of possible insights and expressions, but there is no guarantee that it's going to be expressed intelligibly. So usually the freak part comes out of not so much a faulty insight, rather than the result of poor communication. And when the expression here is grasped by the other successfully, then those people are considered geniuses. So anything that a person with this channel has to learn is speech skills and patience to reach the audience, and patience to get recognized and invited to share their insights. The ability of the knower is to empower others structurally. This channel is always structuring, and its ultimate gift is to make things more efficient. If they can explain you how to be more efficient, then they have been able to transform you, to mutate you into a new direction, in new grounds. And the contribution here is to enhance our acceptance of those who are different. We have the 23rd gate. So they're able to transform the old into new forms and values. And here we have the sun and earth forming this channel. So it will be very strongly will show up itself with this person. And we also have the 43rd gate, line 6, breakthrough juxtaposed. This means that the exaltation and the detriment will be very strong. This is the main gate of this person. We know the sun is 70% of who we are, and personality sun is who we think we are. So if we look, this person, this is black, so this person knows this about themselves. It is conscious. And when we look at the red, they feel in their body like they're taking everything in, and they are. being a mental projector, they do. But here we have the sixth line, breakthrough. Unique knowing that is both personally and collectively of value. When it's the right timing, of course, when you're invited to share your wisdom. And the other side is when the value of knowing is more important than other aspects of life. The tendency that in breakthrough, they see justification of its lesser attributes and carries them over into the new order. So it's really important for these people when they have an insight to wait until they've structured it completely and they have clarity about it. And we have also the 43rd gate in Mars and in Pluto. So Pluto is the truth and transformation. In second line, dedication, unique mental habits and thought process which promote insight. And we also have the Martian energy, which is not yet. It is kind of not yet ripen. Like it needs time. The Martian energy needs time to get to its fertility, to its there is this word I just cannot it's not ripen, this energy. It's a little bit immature, so it needs time to mature. And Mars is very strong energy, but it's immature energy. So it needs time to mature and to become really like the wisdom there, to get wisdom. So we have third line, expediency, the powerful drive for regeneration that will, when breakthrough is threatened, use any means, align with any force, and endure any condemnation to achieve the goal. A certainty knowing which can withstand condemnation. This person, when they know, and nothing can influence them. But the knowing, the individual process, it comes and goes. It's a pulse mechanism. So sometimes they know, sometimes they don't know. And it's like, I don't know. And suddenly, yeah, I know. How do you know? I don't know how I know. I just know. And this is very strong energy in them. Yeah. The 23rd gate in line 6, fusion, the gradual attunement of diversity through synthesis. The exponential growth of energy and its power of assertion engendered by fusion, individual knowing which brings diversity to synthesis. The 23rd gate, splitting apart, the gate of assimilation, also is the gate of strangers, of introducing strangers to the whole and accepting the difference. By strangers I mean the different people. So that we accept the different. And yeah. I wanted to see whether there is more planets here, but no. So everything about this person is waiting for the right moment to be recognized and invited to give their unique insights. Now, let's look at the other channel, the channel of abstraction. which is also connected to a lot of thinking. It's yeah, it's abstract, as I already said. It's design of mental activity mixed with clarity, a part of the sensing circuit. So they have to make sense out of things. And here, there is a constant thought process. People with defined head and ajna, they cannot stop thinking. But it's important that they think about the right things, not making strategies for their own life, but pointing this energy, and in this case, it's a projector, towards the other, and wait to be asked. Basically, this channel is trying to make sense of the past based upon experience. And confusion just marks the beginning of an experience for them. And if they're patient enough with their process, they will come out with a valuable story to share, as I already said. But it is important that they share what they think. It's a collective channel because there is nothing without sharing, and they have a defined throat. So this thought can come, its single definition, it can come to the throat with ease. The challenge here is they don't know what they have energy for. So all these ideas, all these inspirations, there is no energy for it unless they find the right other, or actually more correctly, being found by the right other. Projectors should not hide themselves. They should show themselves to see who recognizes them. Not hide and do nothing, but change the groups of people and see where they're being seen. Where you're not seen, nothing for you there. It's not the right people. Where you're seen, where you're invited, where you're recognized, this is the right crowd to hang around with. Because, see, the projector is here to be successful, but successful with the right group of people. They need to find the right group of people to guide, and to guide them to success. The projector is not successful by themselves. They're successful because of their group of people. That's when they really feel successful. And they're most successful when they're recognized and invited to share their sense of the world. It's always important for people with mental definitions to remember that the mind is not an authority for making decisions for oneself. It is not an internal authority. We have no inner authority here. But in order to release the pressure and to make sense of life, they have to find a way to share their minds with the outside world. So their casual storytelling gives them a gift for being historians, for instance, or to make sense of the past, and be able to find their genius in inspiration or even in confusion sometimes, to kind of, through the confusion, to break down the experience, look at it over and over again from every possible angle, and then there is this aha moment where clarity comes, and looking through all this kaleidoscope of images, suddenly there is this bigger picture. I call it the eagle's eye. I have this channel myself, and even before I knew about human design, suddenly there was this moment that everything from the past would make sense, but it takes time for the experience to finish. And only then the gift of those concepts can come out. Also, the gift of the 4323, the channel of structure, is the ability to develop techniques and concepts that enhance efficiency. This mind can look at the way something has been done or is being done and suddenly know a much better and faster way of doing the same thing. This is innovative thinking resulting from quantum leaps that can move entire organizations to higher planes of efficiency and efficacy. They can potentially bring a new level of refinement and wisdom in the world. But in order to stay in integrity with their inner knowing, they need to listen to themselves, to their inner voice, and not pay attention, even be deaf to others, as I already mentioned. And these sometimes can feel like they're outsiders, especially when we're not ready to give the structure and the new insight, and they choose the wrong moment. To give their unique knowing, they can really appear very strange to others, and totally not being valued uh, for their unique contribution. Yeah, so this is their gift, to be inspiring, to be able to take in concepts, to go through them, to understand them, to structure them in a new way, to give it to the other and mutate them. And all of that by staying true to their process. And as a 6-3 profile, I'm going to talk a little bit later about it, be the role model of what it is to be yourself and empower others with that. So let's look at the rest of the design. Let's look at the root center, which is the physical adrenalized pressure, the drive, the stress. And this person is under a lot of stress. Just look at it. There is the 38 gate appears 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. There's a lot of pressure here. Then we have also the 60th gate twice. And yeah, that's a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure to start new things and leave them unfinished. A lot of pressure to be ambitious. A lot of pressure to fight and to provoke. And Mars is in the 60th gate, which gives also limitations. So we have here the 38th gate, the gate of the fighter, and we have it in the second line, the first line, and the sixth line. So let's look at the first line qualification. This is Uranus, so it's what is unusual about this person is tempering opposition based on the circumstances, a physic attunement that guarantees proper action, the psychic gift of knowing when and how to fight. On one hand, but we have the other side of Uranus, which is in the second gate. So the line of politeness. They can be basically over polite with the energy for and value, understanding the value of discretion, not sharing, but on the other hand, the energy for over politeness in times of struggle. And totally going off limits with this because it's an open center. So they can exaggerate this energy, twist it around. They can totally be distorted there. And being in so much hurry, not knowing when to take a deep breath and relax and not be pushed with this adrenalized force from the people around them to hurry and to run from one thing to the other. Until this person stops hurrying, they're not going to be able to notice anything else in their design. Because the stress here is just enormous. They have the potential to be the most calm person when they learn how to breathe, when they learn how to get away from this adrenalized energy, see who's around them, who's putting them under pressure. Because, the boss comes and says, finish this by Friday, and they're done by Wednesday, so that it's out of the way, this pressure, and they think the pressure is going to be gone. But no, the pressure keeps on building up because the next task comes, and there is no end to that. Unless they learn their lesson and their wisdom. In the open centers, we have the wisdom, the potential for wisdom to become wise about it, and at the end, being able to be successful on the material plane with this gift, giving advice to others when you realize. And in this case, we have a 6-3 profile, so trial and error. And especially the first 30 years, it's a 3-3. So trial and error over trial and error over trial and error, seeing what doesn't work and eventually getting to the things that might work. So we also have the 38 gate in second line, as I said, in oh, uh, in Uranus, and also it is the North Node. So the second part of their life, they are going to be in a kind of environment which is fighting environment or revolutionary environment. Although it's the 39 gate more that, but here we have an environment. How come? Okay. um of fighting, of opposition. This person will meet a lot of opposition, and they will, and actually it's the personality nodes, it's about the perspective. So they will be seeing, the environment is more, the design side, it's about being in an environment which is uh, quite ambitious and starting new things, and it's very adrenalized environment. So they will be in an environment, especially um, the first phase of their life, of people constantly starting things, and it's a very fixed environment in the fourth line. So people around them will be very fixed. And very interesting gate here we have, and fourth line, enlightenment and darkment. Here in the most mystical of positions, there is neither an exaltation nor detriment, for in truth they are the same, the alpha and the omega, the end and the beginning. So it will be, this person will strive in an environment, especially the second part of their life, which is he has great potential for enlightenment or endarkment. They can spend their life waking up or being asleep. But the potential is there to wake up and to be the alpha and omega. But let's go back to the perspective side. So we have, and all of that is in the root, you see, and it's undefined. So this environment will be changing, the perspective will be changing. It's not consistent. There will be a lot of fighting on one hand, and provocation, obstruction, the 39th gate, especially the first part of their life. And this person will be sometimes totally distorting with their energy the other, and totally overreacting, saying things that will upset others, uh, challenging them, and just this energy, people will experience it as stirring, the ground, and that they're fighting, or they're confronting. It's the 39 gate is in second line. Confrontation, the energy to provoke through direct assault, an emotional discomfort when direct assault is essential. So sometimes they will have this energy, sometimes not. It's not consistent, and they can be completely overdoing it. Also, we have Saturn, which is where we get restricted and punished when we don't follow our law and our moral values, which are in Jupiter and Venus. And this person is going to be punished with rigidity. Their unusual capacity for restraint will be gone, and so uncompromising that the restraint may become unbearable. And there can be dogmatic, principled, and carefully reasoned understanding that is uncompromising in its severity. And it can give them absolute rigidity with uncompromising tint to that, a restraint that can bring even chronic depression. So it's very important to learn the lesson of the root center, to not be in a hurry, to wait for the clarity to come with sounding your truth as a sounding board with other people before this person acts. The mantra here is, am I still in a hurry? And yeah, this is a big one for this person. Then let's look at the sacral center. So we have here 3 gates. When the 29th is how many times? 3 times. The design sun is in 29.3, Mercury 29.6, and Jupiter 29.1. Let's start with Jupiter, as it is the inner law. Yeah. It's the draftee, the ability to adapt to struggle when necessary, but not as permanent state. A deep impressionability whose mark from times of struggle may make a return to normal conditions extremely difficult. Hesitation in making commitments based on past experiences. The 29th gate is the gate of saying yes, to energy, saying yes to the right things. And it's in an open center here, so it can be totally distorted, the saying yes. Because this is not your energy, it's the outside energy, and they can totally get dedicated to things which are not healthy for them. And since this is their law, they get punished when they get engaged with something which is not for them, with restrictions. Saturn is in the 60th gate, the gate of limitations. It's very important that this person engages and says yes to things which are really true and correct for them. Then the Sun is in 29.3, evaluation. In this context, properly assessed inaction. A preference for withdrawal, in principle, with the little regard for effect, the inability to make commitments, the power of caution. And they can totally overdo it, like not committing to anything, not starting any process, withdrawing through a trial and error process, and not regarding the effect of that withdrawal, not engaging. And here, this is the sacral center. It's not engaging with life itself. So evaluating and assessing the proper inaction, thus knowing when to act. Then we have also the 29th in the first line. Yeah, already went through that. And in the sixth line, sorry, the line is called confusion. It's in Mercury, so this is what this person is going to be communicating. Their voice is going to sound confused. The state that exists when momentum outstrips awareness. A tendency in confusion to withdraw rather than accept the condition and continue to persevere. The power in confusion to caution rather than saying yes. And we have a very confused mind as well. So they can feel overly confused of when to say yes. So they have to take their time to get to the clarity when there is no nervousness in the body and that they can engage from invitation and recognition. On the other hand, we have, and all of that is unconscious, by the way. It's in the body. They don't even know that they're so confused. In saying yes, when to say yes. It's just the body withdraws. Then we have the 59th gate in line 2. So dispersion is the gate of sexuality, and line 2 is shyness, self-imposed barriers, a preferred and natural separateness that protects against the inevitable instability engendered by union, the restriction of the sex drive to maintain separateness. Though this is a very shy person, or which waits for the barriers to be broken by the other. Or it's a calculated shyness rooted in deep psychological barriers that even in dynamic individuals will always restrict interaction. Infertility rooted psychologically or biologically that conditions the drive for separateness. Wanting to be there in their own cave and yet projecting to the outside about their self-imposed barriers, waiting for those barriers to be broken and to receive the call to engage and to be intimate with the other. And intimacy is not only sexual, with sexual connotation, intimacy also in projects with people. Sometimes it will be there, sometimes it will be not, but there can be huge distortion and totally going into hermit mode inside the cave, not engaging with anything which can bring fruitful results. Yeah. But these people project to the outside world readiness for intimacy. They project sexuality, so they can appear very sexy in their bodies. And this is Venus. the planet of love, the planet of moral values as well. So Venus establishes and affects the way we interact and relate with each other. So this person will look very shy sometimes, or they can appear overly, because the second line, it first kind of moves away, but then it can move forward. It's this shyness coupled with boldness. So they can be very bold sometimes, and sometimes they can be very shy. They can overdo it with their boldness or overdo it with their shyness. Yeah, because the sacral center, it's all about knowing when enough is enough. And they don't know when enough is enough until they learn the wisdom of when to withdraw, when to remove themselves from the juicy generator energy, and when to be in their rhythm. We have also the fifth gate here, which is the gate of waiting, gate of fixed patterns. Sixth line, yielding. Waiting is never free from pressure, physical or mental, and is often punctuated by the unexpected. The growth of awareness that comes with bending to the universal flow, accepting that in one's fixed rhythm, despite the pressures, growth will be empowered, and often through the unexpected. But it's an open center, so they can easily bend from the patterns and totally go under either to exaggerate the rhythm, like I want to be in that rhythm, I don't want to change anything, or totally be out of rhythm, totally be not in the flow. This is the fifth gate. It's the gate of waiting, of fixed patterns and being in the flow. So this person can sometimes be in the flow, sometimes be totally not in the flow. And when you're not in the flow, you're not in the right place, in the right time, with the right people. Also, we have the open G. I'm going to talk afterwards about, not directly afterwards, but a little bit later. So they can be totally misguided, out of rhythm, out of pattern, not waiting when they need to wait to get to their clarity, not knowing when enough is enough, getting hooked to positions of power and to and strength. They might feel like they are entitled to power and to strength, and totally overdo it with everything. Not enough sleep, too much sleep. Not enough work, too much work. They are the perfect slave, working more than anybody else and just not knowing when to stop, when enough is enough. Or totally hooked up, as I said, to positions of power, to wanting to control, like O with undefined sacral center. Now let's look at the emotional center. So we have here the gate of darkening of the light, the gate of crisis, the 36th, and the clinging fire, the gate of feelings. So this person can totally bring crisis when they get emotional. Because they're not emotional, they don't know how to always process emotions and can go super nervous from the emotions of others, trying not to stir things, trying not to rock the boat, completely avoiding truth and confrontation, and bringing themselves in crisis with that. It's the moon here, so it's the drive, what drives them. The point at which decline has exhausted its power, transition is called the third line. The ability to establish a new order out of the ashes of the old. the emotional depth to endure crisis and embrace change, but it's an undefined center, so there is no emotional depth here. No endurance to crisis. They can go totally off board when they're in a critical crisis situation, or totally embrace the change, but with the feeling that it will not let go of the past, and or totally get rid of past relations, for instance. It's a 6-3 profile. So breaking bonds, burning the bridges behind them, getting themselves into crisis because of that, and not getting to the progress eventually, which is on the other side. Then we have the Earth in the 30th gate, which is the gate of the clinging fire, the gate of feelings, wanting to get into new experiences, but totally inadequate sometimes when to do it. Just looking for new experiences and new feelings, new emotions. And here the third line is called resignation, the acceptance of what is. So they can totally not accept what is. The laws of karma, reincarnation, resurrection, the feeling to accept what is, or the positive or negative feelings which come with acceptance of what is. But as again I say, it's an open center. It can be very difficult for them to accept what is. And having an awareness and manifestation of the law of regeneration. They don't know when to stop. They don't know when to fight. They don't know when to actually stand for their truth, and can totally avoid confrontation and truth, get a double personality, not be true in their relationships, and not respecting themselves enough to say the truth. We also have a completely open ego, so feeling unworthy and undervalued, not having enough willpower. But since it's a completely open center, it can be that they mastered that energy in previous life, and now there is no hooks there, no definition in any gate. So they can receive all these aspects of energy, all different lines. It's not fixed in any way. And they might have learned already the lessons of this center, or completely feel inadequate about it. Thinking that they have to prove, that they have to constantly compare themselves to others, giving promises they cannot fulfill, putting pressure on their will energy, trying to be willful, and totally exhausting their heart center. And this is also connected directly also physically to the heart in the body, to the gallbladder, to the stomach, and to the immune system. So there can be a lot of health problems because of that. And yeah, the mantra here is, am I still trying to prove something to myself or to others? When you catch yourself trying to prove something, stop. It's not for you. You are perfect as you're born. Nothing to improve here, nothing to prove to anybody, least to yourself. You can put yourself under tremendous pressure to prove yourself and compare yourself. Excuse me. So let's look at the next center, which is the splenic center, the basic survival fears, well-being, again, the immune system, intuition, instinct. And we have here only one gate. The 18th gate, work on what has been spoiled, the gate of correction. And it's in line 5, therapy. So it could be the strength to recognize a problem and to accept that it is beyond one's power to solve it alone, the wisdom to both seek and provide guidance, the potential for correction and judgment through relationships, or the mental patient, chronic instability and potential madness, where relationships cannot assist in correction, the potential of mental instability. Or being stable, it's an open center, but it's more likely that they have fear of authority, being over judgmental, not knowing when to stop. It's part of the channel of insatiability. Uh, so uh, trying to correct, trying to judge others, and getting to a complete mental instability from that. Not knowing when to get rid of things which are unhealthy for them, so they have to be very careful as to what they eat, what substances they take, as to not abuse them, substances which give them instant relief and feeling um, like it will make them feel better, unhealthy relationships as well, not knowing when to let go of those things. So it is highly dangerous to smoke, to drink, to take drugs, because they can really hook up on those and not be able to release them. On the other hand, the open spleen can feel when illness is coming already before it's there, so they can take measures. Usually with lighter medicines like and preventive medicine like homeopathy, herbal medicines, more mild medicines. And yeah, the mantra here is, am I still holding on to things which are unhealthy for me, jobs, people, just so I can feel safe in that job or with that person. Then we have the last open center, the G center. This is the center of love, identity, and direction. Looking for direction, looking for the right love, looking for who to be, and trying to fix who you are. So this person might feel lost at times, who they are, what they should be, what they should work, what they should do, what direction to take, who to love, and feel kind of uncertain about those things. The mantra is, am I still looking for love and direction? So you just have to relax on that. Relax that you will change your profession many times. This is the chameleon center. You become the same as with the people you get together with. So if you're with the queen, you get all these manners, and when you're with the pauper, you get their way, their identity. So be very careful again, not only because you're projected, but because of your open G, who you spend your time with, because you become like them. On the other hand, the most important thing for the open G center is the right place, to be in the right place. Then you meet the right people, which will give you correct directions, and you can follow the site, uh, the insights, the signs, the omens, in order to be able to attract society and to stay with your creative process rather than be too eccentric, because you can be too eccentric, which will limit the attractiveness here. It's in the fifth line, the energy to attract society. And this is your truth. It's in Pluto. And the other Pluto we already looked at. Um, which is the second line of the 43rd gate. Dedication, unique mental habits and thought process which promote insight. But here we have Pluto in the first gate, line 5. So this is the truth. And the transformation which is possible to attract basically society with new and creative direction. I forgot to mention actually about the root center, about the 38 gate and Neptune. So Neptune is illusion. The Neptune is the god of the sea, and you know that in water you never see completely clear. It's a little bit diluted. You don't exactly see what's going on. So there will be this misunderstanding and in the stubbornness to face opposition and to know when to fight. It's something you will never really understand in your life for that person. So they just have to let it be. So this is about the traps of the not self. And let me go online again with sharing my self. Yeah, so it is important here to understand that this is a 6-3 profile, which is the end of the process. It's the last of the 12 profiles. It can have a truly chaotic process here. There are 3 stages of life, and Jonathan is in the second stage after 30 years of age. So the first stage is 3-3, trial and error process, making a lot of mistakes, mostly finding things that don't work, looking for the ideal because that's what the 6th line is looking for, and kind of never finding it. They think they found it, and then boom, it's not that. The second part of their life, they get on the roof of the house and they get disengaged. But since it's a 6-3, not a 6-2, they don't have the hermit side to them. They have the trial and error side to them in the 3rd line. So they might engage constantly. So they go up on the roof and then they get bored of that. They go down and they engage again with life. They might engage in promiscuous sexual intercourse with random partners. They may be chaotic in their interests. Promiscuous in their relationships, frustrated by these relationships, become pessimistic and withdraw, climb back to the roof, constantly switching on and off from the process. But the 6th line, it strives for objectivity, and only through their objectivity they can be reliable and see whether something can be trusted or not. Objectivity is the only thing that can sustain them. Because of the constant making and breaking of the connections and the bonds, they suffer from subjectivity. But in the second part of their life is the time where they should become wise, become really the role models, or with the potential of objectivity and being role models after the age of 50, they can become the true role model of what it is to be yourself, what it is to be you. But the moment they're looking for this objectivity, they're unconscious in the 3rd line in the body says, that's not all. There are many more things to try. Let's go back. Let's seek the new. The 6th line seeking commitment and involve and being disengaged in the second part. They can be very worrying to others because when they commit, They bring their loyalty, and through their transpersonal gift of the sixth line, they can be very attractive. And then the next thing, they become super subjective and dissatisfied when they cannot find anyone to trust. And to find experience which can be satisfying, they can immediately reject the other, reject the experience, reject the career, reject this, reject that. Continuous transition and change here in this profile. Going to their loneliness, then engaging back, breaking away, then going back on the roof, back with their fingers in the soil, and frantically move through their experiences, adjusting to others and then rejecting them. But then in the middle part of their life, although the process of engagement never stops, there will be some more withdrawal. It's built into their nature, and they know it's conscious. It is possible that they will find something powerful enough for them, for their life, so that they can trust it. They need situations in which they can engage and have still the opportunity to withdraw and then be able to engage again. Here they seek partnership in leadership. They do not seek to lead alone, because the role model is looking for interconnectedness to lead other by their own example, preparing us for the new foundation, actually, because it's the last profile, so it looks at the foundation, the 1-3. More than anyone else, they seek the other. They seek the other deeply. The quality and the nature of intimacy and relationships, they're very important to them, because only through relationships they can ultimately establish a connection, which is the next step of the process to begin a new beginning. Here we have somebody who is looking for the soulmate and never finding it, until one time from the roof they look at other people's relationships and they can spot something that works, and that this brings back their optimism. So they're constantly between pessimism and optimism, like, this will not work, that doesn't work, there are no ideal partners, and then they see something that works, actually, which brings back their optimism. Second part of their life, they should really take time to heal from the first stage of their life, from this all pessimistic stage, and try to be objective and see that some things do work. Some people are able to be your soulmates. And the third part of their life, after 50, they again get full-on engagement in life, and it is really the time to shine. It is really the time to mature and become that role model that others are seeking into themselves, into these people. Here we have the cross of dedication. The point is to be dedicated to something which is satisfying, and in this case it's a projector, to be dedicated to your process which will bring you success. It's about dedicating yourself with determination into something that you're going to be efficient in, and to do what has to be done. And it should not be mental. It should be something specific, a system, a structure, coming from the thoughts and processes of the of this channel of structuring. And since projectors are all about systems, dedication to awareness, to spirit, to be influential to others by inspiring them with the 6447 channel, you will be able to really transform and mutate. It's also here we have somebody born on from the quarter of mutation, and purpose here is fulfilled through transformation, through mutation. The process of watching the consciousness change with time and experience life differently in the different stages of life, in the different ages. Here to insist upon exploring what is really important to them, dedicating themselves to what's really important without allowing interference from others. So we have a combination of a collective person who has to share their thoughts, an individual person who can bring novelty, transformation, and empower others with their own spirit, with their own evolved consciousness, transform themselves and others. This is in basics about this design. And this is a very strategic person, all left, very detailed oriented, and active, quite active, body, soul, mind, brain, everything is super active here. So they do strive in the material world as long as they wait and don't initiate, but wait for it to be recognized, wait for the invitation after the recognition, taking their time to assimilate and to soundboard, to talk with different people, hear about their voice, how it sounds, is there nervousness in the body, what they're saying, does it sound like the truth to them? And after gaining clarity via talking to other people, but not listening to what other people say, but listen to their own voice while they're saying it to other people, and experience whether they have clarity of the thinking process, then they can take a correct decision, be in the correct place with the right people in the right time, and be successful in their lives. So I wish them lots of success, sweetness in their process, and to meet the right forces, the right people at the right time, in the right place, so as to fulfill their purpose. Bye for now.